everyone, welcome back to my channel, welcome to a new video and welcome to a very hot Wednesday. Me and Jonah have been out this morning before the heat and we've had a really lovely walk. We're having lunch now, so if you hear someone laughing throughout this, it's Jonah. He's just sat here, he's like he's like my biggest supporter. As you'll have seen from the title, I thought with it being the 6-week holidays coming up very quickly, I thought now might be a great time to share some ideas about travelling tips with a baby. So our little boy Jonah is now, I have to keep checking, he's 16 months old now. And so far we've been very lucky to go on a few different holidays and a few different breaks, and we have been so far with him. We've travelled by plane, we've travelled by ferry, car, bus. So I think we've done quite a few nice little different trips and we've picked up a few tips and ideas along the way. And I just feel like sharing ideas like this can just make it so much easier for other parents, just sharing ideas and things that you have found that have helped you. So I just thought I'd share some of my top 10 ideas that might help you with travelling with a baby if you're going away anywhere this summer. Let me know down in the comments, by the way, if you have been on your holiday or if you have one later on in the year. We're hoping to go away in September, I think. We might do a break and get a little bit of last minute summer sun somewhere. But yeah, I love to hear about people's holidays and things like that, so let me know down in the comments if you are travelling far or if you're staying more closer to home. I love to hear about everybody's holidays and where you're going and things. So these aren't in any particular order, I've just sort of put notes and ideas down on my phone, so I will just begin with the first one. And the first one is a great hack to save luggage space. And I never realised that you could do this, but if there is a Boots at the airport you're flying from, you can save luggage space by pre-ordering ahead your formula, your instant milk bottles, all kinds of stuff like that. So you don't have to lug it with you in your luggage and take it all through security and take up weight in your luggage. You can literally pick it up at the airport. You do have to order a good week or maybe 2 weeks or so in advance, but then once you're through security and everything, you can just go to Boots and pick up your order, which is just such a great time saver and space saver. On that note of saving luggage space, also check, because some hotels I've seen will now offer travel cots, which are pretty standard, but some of them are also becoming much more baby friendly and offering things like sterilisers. I don't know about prep machines, that might be a step too far, but I've certainly seen some places offering sterilisers, blackout blinds, all of those little bits and bobs that can take up space in your suitcase. It's always worth just asking or just checking on your hotel's website just to see what they can provide, and anything to make your life easier when travelling is a win. On the subject of flying, I would always recommend to try and plan your flight times to work with bedtime if you can, especially if you're flying long haul. Then if you are able to plan your flight maybe in the evening so that your baby might sleep naturally through the flight and then wake up when you're kind of arriving, then it might work out best in trying to keep that sleep schedule as close to normal as possible. Number 3 is when you are taking off and landing, if you're flying, try and offer baby a bottle of milk or water, juice, whatever it is that your baby likes. And this is just to help with the pressure in their little ears when you're taking off and landing. And obviously for a little tiny person, it's quite probably a scary experience the first time. It's a lot of loud noises, a lot going on. But if it does put anybody at ease, when we took Jonah on his first plane ride, we were so pleasantly surprised. He just did so well, and he actually slept through takeoff and landing, and he just did really, really well. So it took us by surprise. We were sort of preparing for potentially the worst, but we did have the bottle ready to go if we needed it. And whilst you are on the move, whilst you're traveling, we have found that it has been really helpful to either download something off Netflix or YouTube and just have it ready on your phone or tablet, just for those instances when it's sort of last resort and you just need to fall back on something, you need some help from something, or certain people on YouTube or anything like that. Your baby's favourite shows, we have found that if you just download a couple or the Dancing Fruit, something like that, it has just been a lifesaver in those moments when nothing else seems to be working and you just need something to quickly help you. You're laughing. I've also seen a lot of airlines are actually very baby friendly, and it has honestly restored my confidence in people travelling and flying with a baby, especially cabin crew. They have been so helpful when we have flown with Jonah, so it's worth just mentioning to them that you have a baby when you're boarding and just seeing if there's anything that they can do to help make that journey as easy as possible for you. Chances are as well, the people around you, which was a big anxiety of mine when travelling, was that the people around me might feel disturbed or, I don't know, give us looks or something, but it honestly restored my faith in humanity by how kind and helpful people were that were sitting around us. They were actually really interested in Jonah, and some of them were kind of playing hidey-boo with him and that kind of thing. But yeah, cabin crew are there to help make your journey as smooth as possible. So if you do have any anxieties or worries or anything like that, it's worth just speaking to them, and I'm sure they'll be able to help. Another little tip with airlines is when you are booking your flight, just check in advance which airline offers you some extra luggage allowance. I know that, for example, I think it's Jet2 will offer you 10 kilograms extra per infant. And a lot of airlines will also allow you to take your pram right up to the stairs or the little tunnel that you go across to get on the plane, and then you can get your pram back as soon as you land, which will just save you carrying a load of stuff, carrying your baby. They can just be happy and comfortable in the pram right up until the point that you literally board the plane. Next one might seem a bit obvious, but it is to buy a couple of new toys that your baby hasn't played with before. But I did want to just specify that we found less is more. So by buying sort of maybe 2, 3 at the most little new toys for Jonah, that worked perfectly well for us, because we found that we had so much stuff that just having 2 or 3 new toys was perfect. And obviously baby toys, you can get them quite small, and you're going to want to like lean towards the smaller ones that you can just pop in your bag nice and easy. Which leads me on to the next tip, which is to pack strategically. So we found that when we flew with Jonah, we had so much stuff. We had his baby bag, and then we also had his baby rucksack, and it was just full of stuff. And to be quite honest, we did try and pack as light as we possibly could, and I feel like everything we had we needed. But we did try and pack strategically so that we could easily find everything. So we kept things like bottles and instant milk, all of that sort of stuff together, so we knew exactly where it was if we needed it. And then we kept things like spare change of clothes and nappies together. You can also try the little packing bags or packing cubes just to keep everything separate. We did that in our suitcases with Jonah's clothes, so we knew where his nightwear, his daywear, swimwear, all of that kind of stuff was. With everything being so tiny when it's baby clothes, it's easy to get everything mixed up. So we just tried to pack strategically with our hand luggage and our actual suitcase. Next one is applicable to if you're traveling by car, ferry, plane, cruise, anything, and it is to plan well in advance and make sure that you have enough time spare and then some extra on top. So when we flew with Jonah last year, we arrived at the airport in great time, and then it turned out that there was a mammoth queue to get through security. I actually asked one of the staff members if there was any possibility of being able to pay like right there and then to do the priority family lane, but unfortunately they said you couldn't do that. So I would recommend trying first of all to book the family priority lane in advance if you can, just in case. It'll just get you through that security and passport control and everything much quicker, but also to make sure that you plan in plenty of time. We ended up just getting through security in the nick of time, and luckily we were flying with my family, so my mum and dad were already on the other side and they were able to pick some bits up from Boots for us that we wanted, like sandwiches and stuff. But if they hadn't, we literally would have had to run to the gate. So make sure you plan in a lot of time and then some on top. It'll just help things go smoother, and if you do run into any bumps in the road, you know that you've got extra time. When I'm on holiday, I always like to enjoy laying in the sun, soaking up the rays and relaxing. But obviously with a baby, you might find, like we did, that you are in the shade a lot more and it's just a different kind of holiday. So this time around, I will be getting a spray tan or some sort of tan treatment. And I did this with our last holiday and I just found it helped me feel good and feel like I had that holiday tan, that holiday glow, without having to spend lots of time sunbathing or actually in the sun. Obviously with Jonah being a baby, we liked to try and stay in the shade where we could and make sure that he was always shaded and out of the sun. So it was just something that helped me feel good and I enjoyed having it done. I completely lost track of how many tips I've done now, but my last one is something practical that you can do right now or when you go on holiday, however you're traveling, is to practice positive thinking. So I think it's completely understandable that as parents, especially if you're new parents like Grant and I, you will have a lot of anxieties about traveling for the first time. Even small things like when we went to Dublin earlier in the year, I had to catch the bus into the city centre with Jonah on my own, and that just felt really daunting because I was on my own. It wasn't something that I'd done before, but I found that just by practicing positive thinking, it almost convinces yourself that everything will be fine. And 9 times out of 10 I've found it kind of works, and it just gives me the confidence to do what it is that I want to do. So that is all of the tips that I have for traveling with a baby. I'm sure there are obviously so many more, and if you would like to share any, please put them down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video and it might be helpful for you. Like I said, please let me know if you are going on holiday this year or if you have already been, but this is your sign to do something nice for yourself. Take care of yourself and I will see you in my next one. Bye!